remains the case that large numbers of al-Qaeda terrorists, including senior leaders as well as senior leaders of the Taliban, are still at large in Afghanistan. It's going to be a very long and difficult job to find them, to root them out. We are recruiting some valuable local allies in doing it, and that's obviously going to be part of the key to success. I've seen it. I think my characterization of it was disgusting, and I think I'll stick with that characterization. I think, of course, I'm assuming that since I didn't understand the original Arabic, I'm assuming the translation that was given to me was correct, and the body language that I saw really was just disgusting. I mean, that people would take delight in having killed innocent civilians is horrible.
Does it remove any doubt that bin Laden was behind?
I haven't had any doubt since somewhere around September 12th, so I just think any country in the world that would knowingly harbor bin Laden would be out of their minds, and I think they've seen what happened to the Taliban, and I think that's probably a pretty good lesson to people not to do that. Obviously, if he goes into Pakistan, the Musharraf government and I think many of the people of Pakistan will be helping us to find him. That doesn't mean that there aren't people there who will be sympathizers, and this man, we don't know where he is now, and he could. Armed Taliban forces and senior leaders like Mullah Omar or Zawahiri in the al-Qaeda structure are still at large. And I would say again that we can expect half-defeated enemies to continue to pose considerable dangers and risks to our troops. So it's going to be a difficult job. We're going to have to work to root them out. We'd love to get him. If he's in Afghanistan, we'll get him. He may not be here. Who knows if he's even alive. When we say we're shifting the focus here in Afghanistan to stability and reconstruction, what we're really saying is while the hunt for terrorists continues, the main focus of effort, the center of gravity, if you want to use a military term, is more and more on the reconstruction and long-term stability. I came here today to focus on issues of Afghanistan, and in fact to make it clear to President Karzai and everyone else I'm meeting with that we continue to pay a lot of attention to the problems of this country moving forward in this country. Iraq is obviously a major concern for the United States, but it's not our only major concern in the world, and we do not want to lose sight of the work that needs to be done here in Afghanistan. We are regulating our deployments here based on the needs here in this country, and it's been a fundamental strategic principle from the beginning to, I guess I would say, learn some lessons from history and not come in here with a massive foreign presence and make ourselves unwelcome in a hurry. I think part of the brilliance, if I might say, of General Franks's plan from the beginning was to keep the American footprint small. We wanted to be big enough to do the job, but no bigger than necessary, and we have more than adequate forces to do what's necessary. We are always concerned when we believe that we may have killed innocent people, and we think that probably happened in that incident, and we deeply regret that. But we have no regrets whatsoever about going after terrorists or people who've harbored terrorists, and we have really very little doubt that there were such people in that area. It was a combat zone. Bad things happen in combat zones. We're doing everything we can to find out exactly what happened and to try in the future to make sure, to the extent we possibly can, that innocent people aren't killed. But we have no regrets about going after bad guys, and there were some there. So General McNeil and his people are investigating that incident very, very carefully. It's unfortunately takes a lot longer to get at the truth than it does to spread initial reports. Initial reports are usually wrong. The truth is harder to come by. But there's no question that a very important part of our job is helping the reconstruction of this country. From the point of view of the military, that means first and foremost helping on the security side, helping to train the Afghan National Army, working with coalition partners in that venture, and also in training the police and the border guards. And we've just concluded a very excellent hour and a half of discussions with President Karzai and the Foreign Minister, Defense Minister Fahim, and other members of the Cabinet. Our discussion centered most of all, I believe it's fair to say, on the importance of training and developing the Afghan National Army, but in a sense, I would say more broadly on the importance of strengthening those national institutions that can move Afghanistan forward. So I think the ISAF has accomplished something very important, continues to accomplish something very important, and its mission here in Kabul is extremely important. And when the British said they were out after 6 months and the Turks eventually agreed to take on the lead, Turkey did so on condition that the mission be confined to Kabul. Now, if there's a need somewhere else, if there are other countries that are willing to step forward and fill that need somewhere else, the United States is definitely not opposed. The problem of al-Qaeda is not just a problem of one individual. It's not just a problem of Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda was a network burrowed into some 60 countries around the world. It had a headquarters here in Afghanistan, but it had headquarters in Germany and in the United States and in France and in Morocco. And you don't take it down the way you might kill a poisonous snake by chopping off the head. You have to, it's more like an infection in a body, and you have to go after the pockets of infection all over the place.